ってるよ、エアコン。貸してあげたら。
いや、使ってるよ。使ってるよ。なんか濡れてるけど取れ。
ダメピンなけんだ。お水？お水飲む？はい、お水。喉乾いてた。やったー。サワやな。どうですか？ガスや。
Alright, how's everyone doing? Welcome to San Antonio Go Rail Tours. My name's David. I'm going to be your boat driver here for the next 3 hours or so. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of history about San Antonio Riverwalk. If you guys have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask. There's a few rules on the boat before we go too far. They're very simple. No standing on the boat. No smoking of any kind. Try to keep your hands and elbows inside the rails. And the company policy is for everyone to put their mask on. I'm not going to be the police, but the mask police, but the company does highly recommend that you put masks on. Also back here at the rear of the boat, underneath these hatches back here, we got life jackets. For whatever reason you find yourself in the San Antonio River, don't worry, don't panic. Just stand up, I'll throw you one. Yeah, it's not very deep. Not very deep. So, before I get into everything, the World's Fair, as it turns out, St. Anthony is from Portugal. He's from Lisbon, Portugal. So the whole reason San Antonio is named after St. Anthony is because of the very first mass that was ever held here in San Antonio. It was held on June 13th, 1691. It was held by a Spanish missionary named Father Damian Massenet. He wrote his diary that because it was St. Anthony's feast day on the day of the Mass, he decided to name the river after him. That's how San Antonio got its name. 2018 was San Antonio's tricentennial. San Antonio turned 300 years old in 2018. We're actually one of the oldest cities in the United States. We're the 7th largest city in the country, top 20 oldest. Anybody know what the oldest city in the United States is? I'll give you a hint. It's in Florida. St. Augustine, Florida. That's right. How about the oldest city in Texas? It's a hard question. It's a little bitty town out in West Texas. Anybody know? A little town called Presidio, right on the border of Mexico and Texas. The next oldest city is El Paso. El Paso, Chucotown. El Paso's almost 90 years older than San Antonio. Then it is Nacogdoches, 1717, and then San Antonio, 1718. Over here on the right is our San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. If you were to move here to San Antonio, these are the folks you probably want to come talk to. If any of you folks from up north are thinking about moving down here to San Antonio, I highly recommend that you come back to San Antonio in the month of July and August before you make any rash decisions, because it's a whole other kind of hot. I spent 2 years in Iraq. I would much rather be there than here in the summertime, without exaggeration. Dry heat is so much easier to deal with than the kind of heat that we have here in San Antonio. Stay hydrated, cover up, protect yourself from the sun. It's actually pretty easy to get used to that. As we come out from underneath this footbridge here, we're gonna enter onto the natural flow of the river. Remember I told you the river comes in from the north, makes a horseshoe shape? We're kind of like in the middle of the horseshoe. If you keep in mind the general shape of the river, it'll help you navigate as you're trying to get around. Keep in mind all of the, not all, but most of the restaurants and bars are back here on this side of the horseshoe, to the right. They're all back that way. We're gonna go left and we're gonna go explore this side of the horseshoe portion of the river. Y'all see those little ducklings over there? There was 5 of them yesterday. I'm kidding, I don't know how many there were. I'm finding more and more often people do not know who Sandra Bullock is. I'd say like high school age and younger don't know who she is. Over here on the right is the Briscoe Western Arts Museum. The Briscoe opened in 2013. The building that it resides in used to be the old San Antonio Library. The museum actually commissioned that piece of art here on the right. It features the longhorn cattle, which is run wild and free here in Texas, built by the Spaniards in the 1700s. And the very first cowboys, the vaqueros. Folks, this is where cowboying got started, right here in San Antonio, South Texas. The first cattle drives were out of San Antonio. They went east to Louisiana to beat the French Army during the American Revolution. Barbed wire was first introduced here in San Antonio, over in Alamo Plaza. completely revolutionized the Cadillac scene forever.
楽しいね。
Crescent Street Bridge is an iron ornamental bridge built in the late 1800s, one of 12 within the state of Texas. Brasa in Spanish means dam. One time we had a dam right here at this location. Over here on the right, we'll notice a little iron sculpture. It sits on a little island called Marriage Island. A lot of couples get married here on this little island. It's supposed to be good luck. They estimate over 300 couples a year get married right here on this little island. Last weekend we had a couple weddings and a proposal right here on this island.
ちょっと近いんですか？大丈夫？アイエルさんめっちゃおるよ。休憩してる。
Over here on the right is the Westin Hotel. The Westin Hotel just finished construction on the roof facing the river. They just added all those balconies up there that overlook the river. A year ago, they didn't have any balconies on the Westin Hotel. In Alabama, they got a hospital with a Bubba Gump shrimp restaurant in the basement. Bubba Gump.
交代しよう。
That's all I gotta say about that. Rainbow. Alabama.
ちっちゃん大丈夫？
ハードロックカフェ。
あ、また見えた。ハードロックカフェいいね。このお席されたらな。
This is for all the nightlife
泣け
happening.
た。また行かんな。
Dance clubs, nightclubs here in the Pearl River.
あと。
That hotel directly in front of us is the Hyatt Regency Hotel. It's not particularly historic. It was built in 1981, but it's only 16 stories tall. And it's only 16 stories tall because they weren't allowed to build it any taller. If they had, it would cast a shadow on the Alamo, which is directly behind it. So if you guys are in this part of the river, you want to go to the Alamo, all you gotta do is go to either one of the double doors there at the base of the hotel, follow the water feature that goes all the way through and underneath the hotel up to street level, and you'll be directly across from the Alamo. If you look above each of the doors there, it says the shops of the Paseo de Alamo. This part of the river is called River Square. This is where we have most of the restaurants here in this part of the river. By most, I mean 5. All right, you guys staying down here in the downtown area? If you're staying in downtown San Antonio, you want to get something to eat late at night. The only restaurant that's open 24 hours a day down here on the Riverwalk is on the other side of the footbridge over on the right-hand side. They're open 24 hours a day. Now, the food's not very good, but at 3 o'clock in the morning, it is so fresh. Best canned beef fried beans I've ever had in my life.
カムちゃん。カムちゃん。クワクワクワ。クワクワクワ。
I was proud. I was killing me. My favorite restaurant over here on the right, the Boudreaux's restaurant. Not a Mexican restaurant, they call it a Texas bistro. But the food here is excellent, service is fantastic. If you don't want to eat dinner here, you can just do chips and margaritas. Like right now, he's doing a tableside guacamole that's really good. Guacamole for you folks from up north. They also have a prickly pear margarita. See the pink margarita that's on the table? That's it. It's fruit off the cactus. It's very unique to this restaurant.
映ってる Today's meal is ravioli. Ravioli. I'm so hungry. Hungry, 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 hungry. びっくりしてる。はい。Hungry, hungry. おいしい？Hungry, hungry, hungry. おいしい。
あ、一回食べた。
いけた。姉ちゃんまだタッチしないよ。タッチできた。はい、あっちゃん。もうタッチしたくなっちゃった。ねえ、GoPro が欲しくなっちゃった。美味しいですかってけんちゃん。ね、美味しい。入って。食べちゃった。
ベビーシャーン。
はい。待って、全部。
おいしいね。